Mhm. No, exactly. Mhm, 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 mhm. Hi, Maneru guys. Muri say. How are we? Muri say ndoda kuti mumboteererawo imwe analysis iri panapa as we are going kuma elections towards the end of the day. We need to know as much information as we can. So apparently, we have a ZANU PF that is having problems. Zvinhu zvavhunduka kuzeki. MuZimbabwe mave nemafactions. Remember, pane pandakamboita video ndichiti Shoni Chiwengwa naMnangagwa, they've been having my inside fights. Isusu hatichizivi zvedu, but things have been happening. That's why takaona vice president vachistripwa vakuendeswa kuhealth department. It's just it was a way to reduce his powers, strip him of his powers completely as a person so that he becomes a toothless someone in government. Mnangagwa has tried kutorawo mathags ake ti Mnangagwa oprotecta vanhu vake. Masoja ese don't have mapositions ekuti vanokwanisa kuita sei. But I think the divisions ari kuita kuzeki anonzani Chiwengwa akaona kuti the only way we are going to visa na Chiwengwa akaona kuti the only way hatichavhisa naMnangagwa kuenda tinoataka zeki. Anotoziva maweaknesses eki. Ndatimboteerera Pricilla akatengesa nyika. Ndiye akatengesa, saka we don't know this time around kuti which side is she going to take. Women, but dai wanga uriwe waiitawo here seizvozvo zvaakaita. Hai, ndaizotaura hangu chokwadi, ndaizoenda hangu kuAmerica. Totowana tiketi rekuenda kuAmerica nemhuri dzangu, ndoti ndakamanikidzwa kuti titaure kuti Nelson Chamisa loser. But anyway, people make choices in their life. Ndicho chandakadzidza. Let's listen to this guy achianalyze nyaya yeZEC. Let's listen to other people as they speak. It's 27 July 2023, and today I've got a very quick presentation on what has happened in Harare or in Bulawayo as such, and it's extraordinary what has happened. ZANU-PF has taken the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to court, and they obviously won against the CCC and the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. So this is extraordinary because this is the first time that ZANU-PF has had to resort to taking the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to court. And as I'm going to show you, this has broad implications for this election. Specifically, I have been saying that President Mnangagwa is no longer in control of ZEC, and there is in fact a third force that is in control right now in Zimbabwe. And that Anti-Machinzo, guys, Anzi, it's the first time in the history of Zimbabwe kuti ZANU-PF wakes up and they are not happy with ZEC. ZEC is it's a party, or it's an organization, or it's an entity, or it's a department that was being run in ZEC. And these fights, they can only be achieved because it's an in-house fight. Makamboona kana vanhu muchirwa mumba menyu muri mubedroom.
chero mukaita sei, chero manebha akada kuita sei kana kuita sei, kana makurovana munongorovana, hapana zvinomboita kusvikira maresolva. Saka this is an in-house fight zviri kuitika muzanu imomo. And inini munamato wangu ndiri kuti Mwari ndazvirambe zvakadzvanya ipapo, ndazvirambe zvakadzvanya ipapo, ndazvisangogumira chete kuzeki. Dai vatora zvavanombouraya vamwe vanhu, dai vatanga kuurayana futi pachavo ivo mazano. The only way God is going to answer our prayers, ndavaite confusion pachavo, vatange even kuurayana, vatange even kuita ma-accident. Let's continue listening.
There is in fact a third force that is in control right now in Zimbabwe, and that is preparing to be in control. So I will keep talking about this third force. The third force, very, very strong. And the third force is going to determine what happens in Zimbabwe within the next 5 years and not the upcoming election. In fact, if President Mnangagwa does not win the next election, there will be dire consequences for him, which includes him having to even leave Zimbabwe. And this, I don't say it lightly, the factors around President Mnangagwa at the moment and the forces around him, they are so strong that they are actually de facto in control of the situation in Zimbabwe. And if you look at what has happened with ZEC, ZEC has got 2 factions. This has never happened in Zimbabwe. During the time of Mugabe, ZEC was totally under the control of ZANU-PF and the military. So if you see 2 factions coming up in ZEC, it means there are 2 strong people behind what is happening in the country. And let's go, before I go deep into my analysis, let's go and see what has happened. What has happened is that there was a nomination court in Bulawayo Trade Court building, and ZEC accepted papers of 12 CCC contestants. And these papers were submitted after 4 p.m. By law, ZEC should not accept such papers after 4 p.m. And some people went to court, to the High Court, and challenged this. They say that ZEC cannot accept the papers of the CCC and 4 other people after 4 p.m. And obviously, the matter was heard. The papers are on gambabo.com. If you go there, the full judgment is at the front. Mnangagwa loses control of ZEC. You see the full papers, and you can scroll down and read everything. The judgment is 22 pages. And what happened is the people that went to court are supposedly members of an outfit called FAZ, or the actual court case was actually sponsored by an outfit called FAZ, which is a section of the Zimbabwe intelligence, but not the ordinary intelligence, but a special intelligence which was created to support President Mnangagwa going into the 2023 elections. The reason why this was done is because the usual support that President Mnangagwa was getting from the official military and the intelligence is no longer reliable. So they had to create an extra.
And imagine to see how. Let's rewind a bit. Mnangagwa goes into exile. He went into hiding, so he says he went to Mozambique. There's a story yekuti akafamba paakadzingwa nana Mugabe. Ndobva Mnangagwa azodzoka. Paakadzoka, ndobva there was a coup for 2 days. Coup is when the soldiers take over. Ndoinonzi coup. For 2 days, 3 days, masoja akatombotonga kuZimbabwe, ndobva Mnangagwa azoiswa. So the people who were behind that masterpiece, the coup, is the intelligence and the military. They managed to do that. Mnangagwa, fast forward 7 years later avarayirwa kana kuti anakirwa nechigaro chaumambo. Handiti muri kuzvinzwisisa? Ndidzo ngano dzandinenge ndichiudza vazukuru vangu seizvozvi. They will look in my eyes and say, Granny, you are such a strong woman. You were even reporting these things on Facebook and YouTube. You are phenomenal, great woman. And muri kuzvinzwisisa? So this is what happened. Fast forward, Mnangagwa got reluctant. He got comfortable with all the benefit that comes with being a president. The only problem that has destroyed ZANU-PF on its own is greediness. Mazidharaya ane hutsinye and ari greedy. Mnangagwa ari kumora ari ega asingaziviwo kuti ana Chiwengwa vari kuda kumorawo. And vari kuonawo kuti isu hatisi kumora pakanyasokwanirana. Greediness. Makamboona zvinoita maskoli muSouth Africa. Exactly what is happening in ZANU-PF. They will finish each other. Let them steal. But all the time when the scholars steal from people, they go. Pavanenge vakuda kudivide zvavanenge vaba. They are not satisfied. They start fighting amongst themselves. Vanopedzisira vakushudhana. Ndizvo zvichaitika kuZANU. Mnangagwa got greedy. All other people that helped him to the throne, it's either they are dead, kana kuti iko they are stripped off. They are completely stripped off. If there's a biggest insult that can happen to a man, is from being a vice president. Uri chigaro chekuti general wati hameno kuti Chiwengwa ive nechinzvimbo chekuti ase ndovhunoiswa kuhealth department. Makambozviona kupi imimi? Handiudzewo kana ndiri kunyepa kana chero ndichihumana. Kupi kwaunoti wabviswa pachigaro changa china VP Chiwengwa vagobva vaiswa kuhealth department kwavasingagone kana kupronounce kuti penicillin. Vakabva vanoiswa ikoko kwekuti vavharwe nemavhoko vatange kudzidzira chirungu. Mnangagwa anoganga, guys. That is the greatest insult that he did to Chiwengwa. And iko zvino, next month, we're going to see vacho vanozviti takaenda kuhondo yaNambuya Nehanda. Ana Chiwengwa versus Mnangagwa. Mirai muone zvichaitika kuZimbabwe. Apa Kasukuvere ndambokuudzai kudhara masikati kuti Kasukuvere, to be coming and saying he wants to be a president in Zimbabwe. He doesn't care about the people of Zimbabwe. He's coming to avenge Mnangagwa. Zvaakaitirwa Kasukuvere akabuda achimhanya. Akati masoja achishudha pamba pake kuti akabuda nepawindo Kasukuvere uya. Right now he's in exile. The only reason he wants to come back into Zimbabwe, ada kurevenge. So we have three people, VeZANU vese, Kasukuvere, Chiwengwa, and Mnangagwa fighting against each other. But do you know what? When the elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. I feel sorry for this woman anonzi Pricilla. Achatora side ripi. Arikutora side ripi. Chimbozviongororaiwo. As you listening to this guy that is analyzing, itai muchikomentawo tichiita madiscussions tese. Zimbabwe ndeyedu. Takaizvarwa neropa. Tichaifira neropa futi. Saka contribute, write your contribution so that we can discuss. Let's listen until this guy finishes his analysis. I thought it's very rich. Kuti tese tinzwisisewo.
Extra intelligence organ called FAS, which has been orchestrating a lot of things, including double candidates in the CCC. In fact, they were accused and they were sponsoring these double candidates and also coming up with such court cases, like the one that came out today, which the CCC has lost. What this means is that the CCC does not have 12 candidates for Bulawayo. Who knows what is going to happen? Maybe ZANU-PF is just going to walk over and have 12 candidates or 12 MPs in Bulawayo. So this is what has happened. And the reason why this is happening, obviously, as I said, is because there are factions in ZEC and there's also factions in ZANU-PF. So the factions in ZANU-PF have mirrored themselves into ZEC. And the ZEC the functionaries in ZEC, they are doing the bidding of the factions, the different factions in ZANU-PF. And what it shows, if you see ZANU-PF having got caught against ZEC, it means the official ZANU-PF and the official ZEC are no longer in alignment. And this is the point that I'm making here. If you look at the provision of the voters' roll in electronic form to the CCC and attempts by ZEC to stay out of interfering with the CCC. The ZEC has not been interfering as much as before, because what they could have done now, ZEC could have simply not accepted the papers of the CCC, but they were very, very lenient. If you read through the court papers, you will see that ZEC accepted the CCC papers way after midnight. So they were dealing with those papers way after midnight. Reading that judgment is very, very interesting, but obviously I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I want to spend a lot of time on what is happening behind the scenes, which is the loss of control by President Mnangagwa of ZEC. And what the implications of this are is that if the CCC or if Nelson Chamisa was to win the presidential election in 2023, the Zimbabwe presidential election, there is a likelihood that ZEC would announce that result. Before, it was not possible. If Chamisa had won the election in 2018, ZEC was not going to be able to announce that result. They would have had to defer to the political and to the military. But at the moment, at this very moment, if Chamisa was to win the election, there is a likelihood that there will either be an announcement that Chamisa is won, or there will be a public spectacle like what we saw in Kenya and slightly what we saw in Zambia. You remember that in Zambia, the moment that Hakainde Hichilema was clearly in the lead, the Electoral Commission, Electoral and Boundaries Commission, they sort of went away for like 30 minutes. There was a gap there where they could not, they were in limbo. They were waiting to gauge the mood to see what is going to happen. In our particular case, if Chamisa was to win, I've got no doubt right now that they would announce that result, that Chamisa has won. Or there will be a public spectacle where one side will say another thing and one side will say another thing. So there is a big change in this election. The election we're going into is not ordinary. It's not the same as all the other elections that you know. This particular election is going to result in something that you've never seen before. And ZANU-PF is not sure of what is going to happen. If I keep repeating this, it's because it's a key point. ZANU-PF lacks data. They do not know how many percent they're going to lose by, but they got a pretty good idea that they're going to lose this election, especially on the presidential. They are very, very clear that they're going to lose the election, and they will do things that you have never seen before. As we move closer within the next 20 days or 25 days, you're going to see things that you've never seen before. It's going to become very, very tense, and we're going to hear things that you've never seen before. So if you want to read those court papers, you can go and read them. The short of it, of this whole thing, court case, is that CCC and ZEC, they were actually the ones who lost. They were on one side. So ZEC and CCC were on one side, ZANU-PF and FAS were on the other side. And the judge was very, very lenient. If you look at the way he did this court case, his judgment was very, very lenient. He could easily have dismissed this case. And I don't know what is going to happen when the case goes to the Supreme Court, but there are many reasons why a judge could have said this court case, we were throwing it out, but he did not. He found reasons over and over and over again to accept the applicant's case against the respondents. So I don't want to stay for long here.
Guys, do you hear what this guy is saying? There's a division in ZANU-PF. And that division, yalida kuti muite division ku-ZEC, ku-ZEC. I think it's about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month ago, pakabuda nyaya yekuti pane ma-duplicates ema-ID vanhu more than 10,000, there could be more, vanenge vakarejista. Zvakafanana kuti Penelope African Princess ID yangu iri kubuda kukwekwe kwedu kwatovhota uko, then imwe yobuda kuzambara mafuta uko, kana kuti yobuda kwazvimba. So simply what it means, vanhu vaipiwa 2222 munorejistiwa kuma province 22222222. Either wavhota kumwe kana kuti chero hauna kuvhota. What ZANU-PF was doing, vaishandisa iwawo macopyright kuti varege. Ndo mavhota vanenge vachinyora vobva vamaka. Do you know what, guys, as Zimbabweans, I pray kuti vanhu vanga vachishandiswa vachiita izvozvo. Even makatengerwa tuimba kuZimbabwe nekutambura kwaita vana veZimbabwe. I wish one day we will have people that will come forth and testify kuti isusu takashandiswa gore rakati 2018, mugotaurira Zimbabwe chokwadi, mugokumbira ruregerero, because vanhu imimika, I don't know, but before the end of these elections, even before the end waiting period kusvika musi wa23, tichaona zvinhu zvakawanda between ZANU-PF and ZANU-PF. Be warned, tichaona zvakawandisa between ZANU-PF and ZANU-PF, because the fights are not just mame fights. They are people of influence. They are people who can wake up. This is one thing that happens to Zimbabwe. People can just wake up and say, Ndisita kutonga. Kana kuti they can just wake up, vobva vavhisa Mnangagwa sezvatakamboita kuna Mugabe. They are people who are there. And I feel Mnangagwa kuzvifilawo. But vanhu ivavo futi, they are being lenient. They know kuti Shoni Mnangagwa will never win elections. Zviri pafeya. They know that. And they know from the previous results kuti Zimbabweans have been fed up neZANU-PF kudhara. So the only weapon they can do kufisa Mnangagwa is to encourage free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. That's their only weapon. Let's listen. Let's continue listening. Vane, what a collaboration saying here, you can never trust this man. No, but you know what, Joe? Things are not about trusting. I have always encouraged people on this platform. It is not about me. It is not about another person. But when someone comes and gives us their idea, iwewe be part of the discussion and contribute. Don't say, don't trust. Why do you want to trust another man that has his own opinion? But if you think kuti mune zvine sense zvaari kutaura, toda vanhu vanofunga, guys. You can't just come and want to trust me. For what reason? Why would you want to trust me? But from the things that I'm saying, try to also read between the lines kuti zveshuwa izvi zviri kuitika on the ground. Izvi hazvisi kuitika. Toda vanhu vanofunga pasocial media. Tidi vanhu vanongobuya vachingo follow my leader say. Think also in your mind kuti of the things that this guy is saying, pane anything zvine musoro here zviri kutaurwa kana kuti kwete. And this is why we say, put your contributions. No, don't just condemn. You know, when you are doing discussions, pataive tiri kuform 6, ndosaka muchindoonawo kuti inini ndinenge ndichitaurawo, after taura ndotaurawo. You are allowed to contribute and support your point. Say a point and you support it. Inini ndakazviona kudhara kuti kuZANU kune madivision. Pakatanga nyaya yaSusan. Ndakatombozvitaura futi, mukaenda papage pangu, mukaenda kuzasi last year, ndakatozvitaura ndega inini Penelope, indotaura kazve kuZimbabwe. Ndakana basa nazvo because ndakatofa kudhara. Chero vakanditevera, chero vakasanditevera, ndakana basa nazvo. But ndakatokutaurirai kudhara kuti there are divisions in ZANU-PF. From seeing what is happening on the ground, I could see. Pakadimotwa vice president. My guy, you don't demote a man. Omuisa ku health department kunoitei. You are stripping him of all the powers. That was the starting point. So if you are a Zimbabwean and you're going to argue, where did all these problems start? You rewind. Think about the politics, what has been happening in Zimbabwe. And then you can pick up that one point that you can, like myself, I'm saying, I noticed it when Chiwengwa was appointed the Minister of Health. Because as far as it is concerned, that's a useless department for Chiwengwa. Hana chaanoona dash. Guys, if you were to appoint me to become your Minister of Health, I would perform better than what Chiwengwa is doing. That was the biggest blow that happened. Ndipo pakatanga hondo chaiyo yakuoneka physically to people. Hondo yaya yaimboita iri kuseri. And another thing, let me tell you as Zimbabweans, is tiri kuchikoro taitoti tichaitawo mapolitician. But zvakazongoramba yazvo because taingoona mapolitician achitambura achiita nzara. But tinokwanisa kudzokera. Let me tell you thing. Mukaona how Chiwengwa was very heartless towards Mary Chiwengwa. Let's think about that. Let's start from Mary Chiwengwa. There's a story that Mary Chiwengwa akapoisona. It's not about kutaida kuroorwa Mary Chiwengwa, but there's a story about Mary Chiwengwa achida kupoisona Chiwengwa when Chiwengwa was sick. In my small big head, I am convinced that was a setup, the opposition ZANU-PF, where they had planned to say, let's terminate Chiwengwa. But Chiwengwa luckily haana kufa. Chiwengwa haana kufa. Nyaya inokwanisa yakatangira kuna Mary Chiwengwa. Mary atambura. We have seen Mary suffer. Do you know why Mnangagwa could not caution Chiwengwa kuti zvauri kuitira mukadzi wako nyika yese, the whole world is looking? It's because panga pane story. Get me right. Indiri kutokukudzai facts about zvinoitika kuZANU. Read in between the lines. Zvazviona zvenyu. The whole world watched Mary achitambura. Ruoko rukaora rukaita makonye rukaita sei. Makambonzwa kana Mnangagwa one day achiti izvoni. Chiwengwa dai warega kudaro mukadzi wako. They couldn't say anything because they knew they didn't want to be implemented kuti imimi ndimi makatuma Mary. Handi muri kuchinzwisisa. Chavanga vasingade kuti vazivikamwa naMnangagwa. Vakati kuna Chiwengwa zvauri kuita mukadzi wako. Nyika yese iri kuzviona. Dai mamuendesa kana kuoperation anopora. Hapana kana munhu weZANU kana wana akakwanisa kuapproacha Chiwengwa. Every ZANU-PF from the first, the president wenyu was painted the red paint yekuti ZANU-PF ine utsinye yasiya Mary Chiwengwa achiora. I spoke about Mary Chiwengwa on my page. I stood up for Mary Chiwengwa. Sezvanongomirira maititi, I also stood up for Mary Chiwengwa. But nothing happened. No one said anything. I concluded, in my own opinion, that the reason why Mnangagwa, he had the powers to say kuna Chiwengwa, rega zvauri kuita izvi, uri kutinyadzisa senyika. But he didn't do that. Because ana Mnangagwa vaiziva kuti ivo ndo vanga vakatuma Mary. It could be that. There's a possibility kuti ivo ndo vakatuma Mary kuti ndonopoisona Chiwengwa. Kunokwanisa kuriko kwakatanga hondo. But for Chiwengwa, fast forward, Mnangagwa abviswa. Fast forward, Chiwengwa akaona kuti for me kuti nditonge Zimbabwe. Chiwengwa munhu uya anozviti iye haakwanisi kutonga, but anoda someone anotonga kuti agokwanisa iye kuluta. So akaona kuti the only person wandokwanisa kuita naye kuwisa back ED kuti adzoke kuZimbabwe instead of G40. Aitozviziva kuti G40 ikadzoka hapana paizomborarama Chiwengwa. So the best way was to bring back Mnangagwa. They organized a coup, Mnangagwa akauya akatonga. But remember, vanhu vagara vane bad blood. Vanhu vagara vane bad blood. Fast forward, vari kutonga. They started fighting in-house. Isusu tisiri kuzviziva, they started fighting. Chiwengwa akabviswa pachinzvimbo. Mese makazviona. Do you think that was a promotion? That was a big demotion. Akabviswa pachinzvimbo chake. He's no more the first commander kuarmy uko. Anonzi retired general, minister of health. That's a demotion. Iko zvino Mnangagwa ndiye first commander, ndiye chii zvese. Akaisa hama dzake, akaisa vanhu vake. Tovabvisa vese vachiwengwa mumaposition. Vakawanda vacho vese vakafa. Now, Chiwengwa azviona, this is the only opportunity. Whatever party iri kunzi izvoni yaka-infiltrata ikaenda iri kuZEC. I'm telling you, it's the army and the intelligence against Mnangagwa. Chazviona zvenyu. Let's listen. Let's listen to this guy. Let's listen. And you can keep contributing. Tiri kuanalyze history yekuZimbabwe. Zvinhu zvakaitika hapana, hatisi kutaura. It's history we're talking about. There's current history that has been happening in Zimbabwe. Chiwengwa has been demoted. There are divisions in ZANU-PF. For the first time in the history of ZANU-PF in 44 years, ZANU-PF iri kuendesa ZEC kukoti. Kune nyaya. Let's listen to this guy giving his contribution.
So I don't want to stay for long here. Let's look at the comments. As I said, you can go to gambako.com, and thanks to Professor Jonathan Moore, who have uploaded on his Twitter the full judgment. You can go and see it over there on his drive. So if you want to go, you can go to gambako.com. If you're unable to read it there, you can go to Twitter, to Professor Jonathan Moore's Twitter. You see the court judgment, the full court judgment there. You'll be able to download the PDF. Now, let's look at the comments and keep in mind what I said. President Mnangagwa in a difficult position. First, because ZANU-PF doesn't know what is going to happen. Second, because he's lost a key backing, the key backing of his usual supporters who are in the military and in the intelligence. He has had to resort to forming FARS and also to forming the 4ED groups. And the 4ED groups have been very, very ineffective. They've not been able to do what the military was able to do. They've not been able to do what the intelligence has been able to do. And we have gotten to this point where the only place that President Mnangagwa can go is the courts. He can only get any relief from the courts. And eventually, that too won't be able to work, especially if he loses by a wide margin. You will see that it will be very, very difficult for him to go to the courts. Let's say he loses, like what projecting, if he only gets 35% of the votes, it's going to be very, very difficult for President Mnangagwa to go to the courts. And as I said to you, if President Mnangagwa loses this election, there will be very, very dire consequences for him. And people in ZEC, for example, they know that if President Mnangagwa loses, and they were backing him on these last days, and something illegal happens, they will face the music. So everyone is jumping ship. Remember what I said to you. People are jumping ship slowly. People are dissociating themselves from ZANU-PF. They're dissociating themselves. They want to make sure that by the time that ZANU-PF loses and President Mnangagwa is out, they are clean. The people are going to stand there and say, you know, we're not part of this thing. This is what you're seeing happen right now. So people are jumping ship. They want the ship to go down with the captain. So let's look at the comments and then let's wrap this up. And then obviously, as you saw, Dr. Fede Centenary is going to be doing editorials here, just like I'm doing. If you want to do editorials on gambako.com and on Gambako Media here, let me know. Contact me, and we'll let you do editorials of on here as you wish. And I've offered this chance to the guys at ZEC before, people like Costalos. And I saw that Costalos is one of the guys who lost. I wish that those guys they can win at the Supreme Court. I don't want them to lose. It's not exciting to me to see someone who has done everything losing. But as you can see, people are criticizing Nelson Chamisa. Hope watching on one, he's been out today explaining that when you submit your nomination papers, you should do it in time. You should not wait for the last minute. This is what I was talking about. You need structure, you need order, you need confidence. If you're going to win the election, you need confidence. If you're going to be a commander-in-chief, you need not to be afraid of soldiers. You need soldiers to be afraid of you. So if soldiers see Chamisa, they must be afraid. Right now, if Chamisa sees soldiers afraid, if he sees intelligence afraid, must confront those guys, must be their commander-in-chief. So there must be a change in the way he approaches intelligence. There must be a change in the way that he approaches soldiers.
Tino, this is what also I was thinking, where he's commenting about Chamisa and the 12 MPs. Guys, this is what we don't want kwatiri kuenda. We don't want confused leaders. Already CCC is showing us kuti vanomboive neconfusion. Muri kuzvionawo. Tell me, why would CC go and submit paperwork yabo last minute? Why? We've been rallying for them for so long. Why would they go and submit paperwork yabo manheru mausiku chero na 4 o'clock musi we-last day rekuvhara? Hamusi kuonawo kuti pane kamwe kaconfusion, kamwe kakuzvida katiri kuti hatisi kuda kuti our leaders vazvide. Our leaders work for us. They should be humble and performing their duties diligently. Noti zvekuti vanenge vachizvida zvisina nebasa vofunga kuti vanoshamisira. Ndiko kamweya katoda kubvisa even pa-CCC. Those people that are coming in. Blazi musandituke nhasi Friday. Ndinokwanisa kutanga kukutukai panapa mukatozoshaya kuti mai ava vapindwa nei, mazvinzwa muri kunditi nonsense. Muri kuzvinzwa imi Blazi, either muri mukadzi kana kuti hamuzi mukadzi. Musatuke vanhu neFriday. Hamuzivi kuti taswera kupi. Tatimbotaura nyaya dzekuZimbabwe. Antika? But CCC is getting reluctant. They are also to blame, and we want answers. We need answers from Chamisa as well. They owe the people of Zimbabwe and Chamisa an explanation to say, where the heck were those people? What were they doing? Vachikona kuno submita paperwork yabo. Vakavhoterwa kudhara stereki ezimaningirikini. Member of parliament, representative edu. How come they did not go kuno submita paperwork yabo in time? That is what we are saying. As much as kurukunzi ZEC yaka accept, ZANU ikaenda court, their case has been dismissed. CCC members are also wrong in this one. And they have to be accountable kuti say imimi makazono submita last minute when you knew kuti ndimi manga makasarudzwa. Are they telling us kuti they didn't know kuti ndivo vari kufana kuenda pachinzvimbo ipapo here? We don't want leadership ine kamwe kakuzvida kasina nebasa maZimbabweans. Muri kundinzwisisawo. Tiri kuda kuchinja setup yelife yatanga tichirarama nemazivanhu ezanu ari abusive. Iko zvino kwatakuenda, we want leaders for the people and the people for the party. Not my leaders anoda kuzviita so superior. Those people work for us. Why would someone not go and submit their papers? Because would you blame ZANU-PF? I'm not blaming ZANU-PF. I'm blaming CCC. They are incompetent. They are completely incompetent. Daimanga company Manga was going to fire them. Because you can't expect to have leaders varikuziva kuti varikufana kuenda kuma election. This is how the elections are just so important. Extremely so important. to every Zimbabwean. These are the most important elections that we have in Zimbabwe. Then we have a leadership inoita reluctant yonosubmita paperwork yavo last minute. Noti zvinoita izvozvo. Hamusi kuzvionawo kuti pane something wrong nevanhu ivavo. Pane munhu anyora message. Hanzi no paperwork. Mira tione. Hanzi no paperwork. No paperwork was akafoni kacho kari kuramba kachifamba kanobva katiza. Hino hanzi ndoda kuverenga zvanzi no paperwork. Imi vanhu muri kundituka muri madofo imi. Muri madofo imi vanhu vanouya papeji pangu muchindituka. Handimborwadziwe nemadofo imi. Akakaura ndosaka makazvagwa muri madofo. Mufunga kuti ndine basa nemi. Ungangouya vanhu vachiita discussion wakutongotuka. Aiwa, but naiwe Liz, iwe Dryman, tell me something. But why is it vanhu ve-CCC vakanonoka kunosubmit? What is their reason? Why did they delay? What is their reason? Kuti vakadelaya kunosubmita paperwork yavo. Kana muchinditi ndiri wrong, timbotipai, what is your argument? What was their reason? Kuti vanoenda kunosubmita last day yema-elections. Hanti muri kuzvinzwisisa. Let's listen to what is happening. What happened, Nyasha? If they didn't delay, then what happened? Why is it their paperwork yakaramba ku accept yakaramba? Give us your point. Don't just say they didn't delay. We are doing a discussion. Write what happened so that everyone gets to know. Don't just say they didn't delay when the ZEC iri kunyora time yayaka accepta paperwork. It was 4 o'clock on the last day of submission. Saka kana imimi mchiti they didn't delay, what are you saying? Even they do hope. Indino first thing ndichimuka makuseni na 4 a.m. in the morning ndotarisa page radedi hope. Even Dedi Hope ari kuramba achingoti shoni. Why? Ivo vanhu ve-CCC, as much as tiri kuvasapota but vari wrong, we need to accept izvozvo kuti ivo vakatadza. And it was a tactic for ZANU-PF to prolong. Let's listen to this guy, what he's saying. Tipedze then tones, wow.
Approaches intelligence, there must be a change in the way that he approaches soldiers, things like fires, all these things. He has to have the bravery of Tongai. He must be able to sit there where these guys are. And I think this is where also Chamisa needs to work on his game. He needs to, you can't say, I won't submit my papers because the NPF is going to do APC. We've said this before. This is where you get this kind of scenario. You need to have confidence that you're going to win. And Chamisa is getting the music here. His supporters are feeling the pain of losing in court when they could have submitted their papers in time. Now let's look at the comments. Mike, Muse Renew, then Gabi Dakim Komana, Joseph, you're wasting your time. Sisi is going to lose. They are not organized, and ZANU is taking advantage. I think you're saying what Obojuan is saying. Koma Samuel, are you sure of what you're saying? I'm very, very sure. President Mnangagwa and his team and his campaign team, they know this very, very well. They've never been in this position before, where you go in an election without a manifesto, without a plan, without any idea of what is going to happen. ZANU-PF does not operate like that. Because, as I said to you, ZANU-PF is a military organization. Imagine if you go to war and you don't know how many bullets or how many tanks your enemy's got, how many soldiers they've got, where they're going to come from, and so forth. This is where ZANU-PF is right now. They have no idea what's going to happen. And this is why you see the change of operation within ZANU-PF. Have you seen ZANU-PF run? That is memorable. Do you know what is the catchphrase of ZANU-PF campaign?
Yeah, guys, anti-manzwa. Anti na Philmon, arikuti shoni. they need to give us answers through a press conference. I also agree kuti Chamisa needs to explain to people. Then case atizhoni, I think vaitya infiltration yezanu. That's why vakanonoka kuita submit. Uri kutaura zvine musoro. Right. So this is what we say in kuti, do we need a leader acharamba achitya, guys? At pa finishing point, we have come a long way. Nachamisa, we appreciate him, we are supporting him, but for how long is he going to continue achiramba achingotya nenyaya yekuti zanu zanu zanu? And mukutya ikoko ndimo munoitisa kuti even maelections achizviona kuti tahwina oanaunswa origwa, anoramba achingotya onyarara. Is that the kind of leadership yatiri kuti isusu ndiyo yatiri kufira kuita rally? We want him kuti amboendawo kugym onogena zvimamasuru Chamisa, so that he can stand up kumathugs uko. Ndaite ka little David kedu. Isusu tine faith yekuti Chamisa is our David who is going to overcome the Goliath dziri kuZimbabwe. Hanzi naIshmael kunonoka musi wa 22 August, kwete zvamuri kutaura nonsense kunonokei. Yo, hey, vanhu vanongotuka kumana. You know what, even kana ndichifamba chero ndichidriver chero ndichiita sei, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I forgive people vanotuka, because ndoziva kuti a lot of people vanenge vari under the influence yesubstance. Saka I forgive you, chero mukatuka, chero mukataura nonsense, chero mukataura whatever words you want to say, as long as it's a Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I forgive people. Ndakatozviudza kudhara, because ndinotoona kuti pane pamwe paunotosangana nevanhu vanenge vakadhakwa and zviri normal. Vanhu vane stress kunze uko, taura hako nyasha. Aiwa, vanhu vane stress. Let's listen to this guy. I want you guys to hear panyaya yaanotaura yaPricilla. And then I want just to conclude my part of the story pana Pricilla uyu akatengesa Zimbabwe muna 2018. Let's listen. Tinzwe kuti anoti chii.
Is the catchphrase of ZANU-PF campaign. I'm asking you questions that before you could have known it by now, that this is what ZANU-PF is about. This is what they are going to do. In 2018, President Mnangagwa had a structured campaign. I've got the manifesto here on my computer. Over 108 pages of ideas, numbers, roadmaps. All these things are there. The plans that ZANU-PF in 2018 were probably written by a big consulting firm. Right now, they have nothing. They've got no ideology. They've got no ideas. The only thing they have is that people are afraid of them. They don't know what they're going to do. But ZANU-PF is in a position that they've never been before. And they could lose very, very big. And if that happens, you know what will happen? It will be a collapse of everything around the ZANU-PF leadership. They will not be able to live in Zimbabwe. That I can assure you. The amount of anger among the people is the same as what happened when Mugabe left. Everyone just poured into the streets. This is what the ZANU-PF guys are afraid of. They do not know what is going to happen to their wealth, everything they've created, the way of life that they've built. ZANU-PF is in a position like never before, and they will do anything to avoid the inevitable. This is where we are, and this is what I'm explaining right here.
Guys, did you hear what that guy said? Blessing, whatever, wataura shamwari, undi count me in. You know what? I love your spirit. I'm one person that has said, if there is need for me to walk and just go there, I think pane kamwe kari inside me kanozviti 99% go penny. So count me in when you're doing that. Guys, do you believe, Kuti? We need to discuss this. Do you think, Kuti, the reason why ZANU-PF, yeah, we know, Kuti, the reason why ZANU-PF has been holding on to power inyaya yekuti vanenge vachida kuluta. Come my elections at 23, do you think the reason yekuti vacharamba vari in power kana kuti kuramba kuti vabude o ndege dzinenge dzakatovamirira ma-escape flights ekutiza, even the first family, the Mugabe family, vaya vana vese vamunangagwa vamunoona vachiflasha flasha, do you think kuti they are also scared of my results that might happen musi wa 23 August? I think this is a topic that we need to talk about in depth. Do you honestly think kuti for them to protect, we know kuti all those people vanoluta vanobhenka zvinhu zvavo kunonzi kuti overseas accounts, they already, I think they have transported mari dzavo. Ana Mayweather vaya vari kuuya, maybe vari kutonzi izvoni uya neprivate jet uzotitakurira mazibillions emari. They are already planning exit plan yavo. We don't know what is going to happen musi wa 23. Are we going to have a civil war? Let's pray not for that. Are we going to have unrest in Zimbabwe? Let's pray not kuti zviitike. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for my elections are peaceful, harmonized and peaceful elections. But at the end of the day, people veku Zimbabwe are angry. Ichocho ndicho chokwadi. People veku Zimbabwe are angry. And vanhu veopposition imimi munondishamisa vanhu vekuzimbabwe. Munoita kutemewa nematombo, munoita muchirohwa whatever. Imimi munobva matiza kuita samuna maoko. Chii chinomboitika kani nevanhu vanenge vachinzi maopposition? Clear power, but I believe vachaita ka transitional thing that will see them out. Yeah, let's just hope for everything. Let's just hope. Shichait. Yeah, for sure. We need more people like me because we are afraid of. Then that's why you see people then can only shout and scream on social media. Aiwa, indakatombozvipira ini. Zvoti chero vanhu vakatoti izvoni ndatiende tiri tichikurosa kurwizi uko kusvikira tanosvika. Zvaingoita ana Tongogara, guys. Ana Tongogara nana mai Mujuru iko zvino munoita tinowoshipana opa muchinguri. They were just crazy sesu isusu. Tokwanisa kutongozopinda mumudhu yavo iyoyo, munombozviziva. Because chatiri kuda ndechekuti tiri kurwirawo nyika yedu. Tatosvika papoint yekuti tiri kurwira nyika yedu. Takatosvika papoint ipapo. Saka inini ndoda kutoitawo kaopa muchinguri kemunana 2020 chakadaro. Hanti opa muchinguri anga ari kuma 19. Indoda kuitawo kuma 2023, 2024, 2028, 30, 40 munenge muchitaurawo kuti African princess akazoita kudai so. Ndotoitawo kahero saopa muchinguri. It takes courage. It only takes courage. But kana usina courage yacho, zvinhu zvacho hazvibudi. Hazvibudi. Let's listen to this guy.
Right. Let's look at the last comment here. CCC government is loading regardless of what. I think we'll deal with this one. You saw what Dr. Fedes Mchenere said yesterday. ZANU-PF is not going to be able to hand over easily. How is Chamisa going to form a government? Very, very important question. I think we have to deal with that. Who do you think is going to be in Chamisa's government? And as I foresee here, some sort of transitional arrangement taking place. It's not possible for day one Chamisa to just jump into the office with the current system that he has. in CCC and run the government. So we're probably going to see some sort of transitional arrangement if ZANU-PF loses. And what I've been seeing people saying is that ZANU-PF is trying to orchestrate a collapse or a situation that will result in the elections not happening. That is a way out for these guys. If this was to happen, if the election was not to happen at all, then that would assist ZANU-PF to avoid what is going to come if they lose. If the presidential election is lost to ZANU-PF, there's dire consequences for the leadership of ZANU-PF. And also, don't be fooled by the rallies. Rallies mean nothing at all. Imagine if all the people who attended the rally was to vote for President Nangagwa, and then it will cascade to the whole population. It doesn't work like that. The people that are going to vote, they are the hungry people, the people that have got nothing, the people whose children are not working, the people that are going to beg without food. We have a serious situation in the country, and ZANU-PF has failed to take this like an emergency situation. We explained a few months ago that if ZANU-PF was going to win this election, they were going to treat this situation like a national emergency, change the currency, stop all this the price increases, all the things that are happening in the country. That's the only way that ZANU-PF was going to win. There is no one who does not understand the economic situation, and no one wants to live through this for 5 years. That is your worst manifesto that you can ever put in front of the people of Zimbabwe. Right, I think we're done here. Let's look at the court case. The CCC, they basically went in with technicalities. ZEC, they went in with technicalities. They said this is the wrong court that you approached. They said you don't have jurisdiction, you don't have local standing, you get the wrong joinder, all these things. They had 11 points or something. None to do with the court case. And the ZANU-PF applicants, they just said you were not in court at 4 p.m. Your paper was not with you in front of the presiding officer or whoever officer from ZEC. The policeman took the papers to the ZEC official. That is not legal. You cannot separate yourself from the papers. Only you or your agent, and not the paper by itself, can be in court. That was the case, and that is how CCC lost. But when you see ZANU-PF taking ZEC to court, they've lost the control over ZEC because of the factionalism within ZEC. And I'm surprised that Chugumba is still in charge there, Justice Chugumba. I thought by now they would have removed it, because the day that the election is held, she's certainly going to not want to compromise herself by not announcing that result. And then eventually when it is out, she faces the music by herself. No one wants to face the music by themselves. Everyone right now is thinking, what happens if Chamisa wins and I'm on the wrong side? This is what these guys are thinking. Right, so I don't align myself with CCC. I stand for the truth. Everything that I say here, if you go back to all my videos, it's factual.
Guys, manzwa here nyaya yaPriscilla. Manzwa here kuti what is going to happen to Pricilla. Remember, 2018, ED na Chiwenga were in the same room, supporting each other. And they compromised ZEC. Pricilla akarohwa, akabhadhagwa, akashedzera maresults enhema. Iko zvino manje, pana Mnangagwa ari ku-left, Chiwenga ari ku-right. Pricilla achatora side ripi manje? Handi muri kuona nyaya dzemabribe kuti dzinoshanda sei? Achaenda kuside kupi? Even if Nelson Chamisa akawina, ndivo vanhu vatofana kuendesa kumakoti ava. Ndivo vanhu vatofana kuendesa kumakoti. And nyaya yaKasukuvere, guys, let's not even get excited naKasukuvere. Kasukuvere is not coming kuzoita presidential leader candidate kuti he's got the interest of Zimbabwean people at heart. He's just coming for vengeance. He wants to come kuti awana something chero 10 tumavhoti ari kuda vengeance on Mnangagwa, zvaakaitwa nana Mnangagwa ndizvo zvaari kuda. He will be so excited to see Mnangagwa going down than kuona vana vekuZimbabwe vachiwana school, zvikoro, going back to school. That is Kasukuvere for you. He is just as evil as ana Mnangagwa. He is just as evil sana Chiwengwa. We shouldn't give them any chance. Those mathags aiva ari kuZANU PF. Tinovaregererechi ana Chiwengwa. Why are we even entertaining zita rekuti Kasukuvere? Why are we Zimbabweans? Imi hamuzivi kuti Chiwengwa ndakuti Chiwengwa rinonzi Kasukuvere kuti raive rine hutsinye richitonga uko kuMash Central uko. Hamuzvizivi imi? Hamuzvizivi kuti Kasukuvere rine hutsinye imi? Ndinyorerei vanhu vanoziva nickname yaKasukuvere. Hamuizivi nickname yaKasukuvere? Makangamwa zvinhu zvaitwa vanhu kuMash Central uko. Why are you Zimbabweans like that? Semuchikangamwa kudai sokuita semuri kudanana neumwe mukadzi imi tiri kutaura nyaya. You know, I feel kuti a man can only forgive panotadzigwa nemukadzi. You can't forgive a man ainetsa vanhu kuMash Central. Kasukuvere hamumuzivi here imi vanhu imimi? Hai, Zimbabweans. Tyson. Ainzi Tyson. Rairova vanhu uko kuMash Central. Kana muchida endai kuMash Central munonzwa nyaya dzake Kasukuvere. Ino nonsense Tyson wenyu uyu. Asiko zvinomufarira kuti Kasukuvere ari kudzoka kupi kwaari kudzoka. Yes, there's someone ambotaura in the morning kuti shoni ana Mnangagwa they are scared kuti Tyson akauya you get votes kuMash Central. Awana votes kuMash Central. If you bring people vanga vari kuZANU PF and bring them back in power again, that will be our greatest failure semaZimbabweans. Vanhu vakaita saJonathan Moyo we don't even want. Ndavagare vari kutwitter ikoko. Kasukuvere ndagara ari kuno kuJoni sesu vamwe tese. Anyasonzo kuti zvinorwadza se. Ana Wota Muzembi akamboita kuagriculture akafoira. Vaingozvida vachidya mari dzekuZimbabwe. Akaita tourism akafoira. Saka what chances are you going to give them? Inini I am challenging you Zimbabweans. Muruda kuti shoni you want to give ana Kasukuvere a chance and what? Give me a chance also to go and do. Let me be your minister of tourism. Mumboonawo kuti ndafoira here. Ko kana ndikazoita zviri better than ana Kasukuvere. Kana chero ndikazoitawo zviri better than ana Wota Muzembi. Even information and technology zvana Jonathan Moyo. Vanhu veG40 vakaba. Those people stole $9 billion. Vakaisepi mari iyoyo. And you still want to bring them back. He's not coming to help us, Brian. He is not coming to help us. He does not know how to bring ED down. He does not know how to bring ED down. Don't be fooled nevanhu veZANU PF. Vari kurwa hondo dzavo. Ndavapedzera neikoko. You know what? Let me tell you vanhu muri kuti he can split. Do you know kuti inini at one time, and I know kuti pane vamwe 1,000 others vakaita seni, ndaiti Mwari tikangobvisa zvimadhara pakaiswa young stock kuZANU PF ndonovhotera ZANU PF. Ndizvo zvandaitombotaura inini. Muri kuzvinzwisisa? So be very careful when you say kuti shoni he will divide mavotes eZANU PF. He will also divide mavotes eCCC. Because muCCC mune vanhu veZANU vari kusapota CCC because vaneta nemadhara. They want to see young stock. Young stock ine hope netariro kuti they might see the world differently from madhara. That's why tiri kuti inini like inini personally, we don't need Kaskubere on the ballot box because he is also going to divide votes evanhu venyu. This is what has happened in South Africa. People thought Julius Malema no penga. Do you know what happened to Julius Malema? Julius Malema came, he formed his own party. Afoma party yake. Vamwe vanhu ve-DA vakaenda kwaJulius Malema, vamwe vanhu ve-ANC vakaenda kwaJulius Malema. Saka both parties will be affected. Don't get comfortable and say he's just going to split my votes as ZANU-PF. That's a lie. It won't be again. It will be also our loss. It will also be our loss. Yeah, ZANU-PF iri silly. Inotya zvinhu. ZANU-PF iri, I don't know. But I feel also because they know each other. They know each other. They know how ruthless the other one can be. That's why vari kutya. Because Mnangagwa naTyson vari ruthless vese. Vanoenderana utsinye. Saka paita vanhu vane utsinye vari two. Vari kuzivana potential. Liz, uri right. All the old people should go, guys. All the old people should go. Vanhu vese. And kuZimbabwe ndakuiswe age restriction. Kuti kana vanhu vasvika 60 years, they can't be in parliament. Havachafungi, guys. They can't be our leaders. We need woman leaders in their 50s. Munhu ari president ndaitewo 40, 50, 60 zvakwana. Because at 60 unenge wakutoita dementia. At 60 unenge 3/4 yemadhara aya anotori nedementia vakanotaurirwa this thing today mangwana vanenge vatozvikangamwa. We can't have a country like that. At the end of the day, let's look out, let's listen kunews. Vanenge vanzwawo zvamunenge manzwawo munondinyorerawo kuinbox kuti tigofamba the journey together. Kubva nhasi kusvika panere patichazoita my-elections, people are saying kuti maybe my-elections anokwaniswa kupostpondwa. Maybe my-elections achaenda mberi, we don't know yet. ZEC haisati yaprocessa paperwork yema-elections, havasati vaita. Remember nyaya yema-MP yakaitika wiki inei, meaning kuti hapana mapaperwork yati yaitwa zvema-voters. Ma-ballot papers haasati atoprocesswa. Mutemo constitution yeZimbabwe inoti 30 days before my elections, ballot papers are supposed to be printed. Ma-observers oona kuti zvakanaka here, zviri right. Even ma-participating candidates vanofana kuenda vonoongorora. But so far hapana zvaitika kuZimbabwe. Haasati aprintwa. So already they are not following. ZEC is not following the constitution. It is completely not following the constitution. Everything has been compromised with Zimbabwe. Already ZEC is not at fault because tasarwa ne 26 days. And the wrong spelling for Pricilla. Iwe msoro wako. So you think Gutishoni, if I spell Pricilla correctly, what is it going to benefit me? Do you know what I wish for this woman? Do you honestly know what I wish for this woman that you want me to correct her name? I wish I could write it in Shona. Do you know what I wish for this woman? And you have the audacity to come and say, write the correct spelling for Pricilla. My dude, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Kana pane kurukuti CCC ya wina. Tukutonda kutonanga kumba kwa Pricilla ye because 7 years tichitambura, 5 years tichitambura kuZimbabwe. Iwoto uya pano pa page pangu kuti right spelling ya Pricilla nonsense bomboclat ye munhu. We have suffered a lot as Zimbabweans. We have suffered a lot. It's not even funny. Guys, I'll be honest with you. Do you know kuti zvinoto dzimwe nguva mukashanya, even mashanya maenda kudzimba, for those people that are not staying in Zimbabwe, kuti usvike uchitoti ndiri kuenda kuholiday kana kuti ndiri kuita chii, unotonyara kuspenda mari yako because 3/4 of your relatives vari kurarama in abstract poverty. People vari kurarama in abstract poverty. Zvisingatomboiti. KuZimbabwe we have a number of people vari kurarama vachidya vachiguta, and utsinye wavanawo vanobva hameno kuti havazvinzwisisi, vanobva vauya vachiti izvoni, vanobva vati vhairira, vanobva vave on the defense. Makamboona mazitags eZANU-PF how defensive they are. Even if you are asking them a question, iri ndakanyara achibvunzwa kuti saka what plans do you have when you, how can you say kuti izvoni Mnangagwa has done so well, we have the best economy in the world. Chris Muchangwa, anonzi Chris Muchangwa aitaura panews dzeku-South Africa, hanzi we have the best growing economy. What best economy? Reporter akamubvunza kuti what best economy do you have when you have 6 million Zimbabweans living in South Africa illegally kana kuti legally, pane kutoti aanse zvinhu zvine musoro akuti kwaiye maZimbabweans akafunda saka anokwanisa kugara wherever they are. Vakafunda kupi? Handi muri kuzvinzisa. James, uri right zvako. People need to be forgiven. It's a Friday. It's a Friday and this is one thing that we don't understand. Zimbabwean people, let me tell you something. Kutaura chirungu hazvina kana shine, guys. I remember growing up, I could not even speak Shona. I could not speak Shona. Remember, I came ndatokura ndichibva kuZambia, and I could not speak Shona. When you get in the corporate world, hapana chinomboshamisira nekutaura chirungu ichi. When you get in the corporate world, hapana zvinomboshamisira nekuti kwai ndinogona kutaura chirungu kana kuti handigoni kutaura chirungu. Hapana chinomboshamisira chirungu. On the ground, maZimbabwean nokuti munotaura chirungu, what have you done nechirungu ichocho? Except becoming laughing stock in the whole world. We have people that speak the best English, the best people. You claim you are the learned people kuZimbabwe. Asi ndimi muri kunoita the worst jobs kuma countries all over the world. A Zimbabwean learned ane degree anosumuka achibva kuZimbabwe onoita zvimabasa zvisina kana nebasa, and you still call yourself kuti tiri maZimbabweans. Exactly, Walter. Wakamboona how proud South Africans are with their Xhosa, with their vernacular. This is one thing that I've learned because I hang around with local people. Ukatamba nemuXhosa, they will speak their Xhosa language. If there's a Zulu person that is traveling from KwaZulu-Natal coming to Cape Town, vanotonetsana. MuZulu anoramba achitaura Zulu yake, muXhosa anonga achitaura Xhosa yake. If a vendor person comes to work in Cape Town, akataura English, anotonzi nevanhu, why are you speaking English? Anti muri kuzvinzwisisa? Taura chivenda ichocho tinonzwanana, noti zvekuti kwai, hey, my name is hazvina kana basa zvese izvozvo. Ndezvechibharanzi zvemaZimbabweans. Ndosaka takapusa. Isusu maZimbabweans takapusa. Takanzi endai kuchikoro tigonopusiswa. We have become tamed little puppies. Tisingaone oppression iri kuitika kunyika kwedu. For how long have we been oppressed? Muchingoti I can speak English. You think English will help you free your Zimbabwe? Because I can speak English. We have watched ZANU-PF kuluta ma-resources ari munyika medu. We have even had the courage yekutiza munyika medu tese, including myself. Ndakatotizawo. inini right now, let me tell you what I do. Ndikaenda kubasa kukaitwa meeting, ndikahwa vanhu vachitaura Afrikaans kana chero ndikanzwa. Makambozviona kuti varungu vemunomu, varungu vachena vacho ivavo, from kuna N7 uko kuSpringbok to Limpopo, ugoenda Mpumalanga Nelspruit, ugoenda kuenda kuBotswana uko kuNamibia, kuenda kuBotswana kuseruko kunonzi kuNorthwest. Hambofi makavanzwa vachitaura chirungu, vanenge vachitaura Afrikaans, their local language. Inini pese pandiri ndinotosvika, if you meet me anywhere, pane even kana pana Ramaphosa, ndinoti how are you, I am a Gweja from Zimbabwe. Kana vanhu vakataura Afrikaans ndotaurawo nechishona. Hanzi muri kuzvinzwisisa? Ndototanga kutaurawo nechishona kusvikira vanenge vakuti wakutinyeya nechishona, why are you speaking chishona? Then ini ndinobva ndavati imimi wani muri kutaura nechiAfrikaans. Hanzi muri kuzvinzwisisa? Be proud. Let me tell you what happens. You can only feel proud to be a Zimbabwean as much as zvinhu zvakaoma so. You can only feel proud to be a Zimbabwean when you can connect with something chekuZimbabwe, especially your language, and be proud of it. Let people identify you with something chinokuti iwe uri muZimbabwean. As much as the world it is so hard and difficult and maZimbabweans tiri kutambura, hold on to something chinokuidentifya kuti uri muZimbabwean. Muri kuchinzwisisa? Hold on to that, because uchasvika oenda kuAmerica, wasvika kuAmerica ugoita mhuri yako igotaura English, but you will never be Americans. Your kids will even ask you kuti how come hatizivi language yedu. I always tell people kuti I sent my kids to private schools, ne? Ku-private schools vana kuZimbabwe vanorambidzwa kutaura chishona. Do you know right now my daughter, who is a doctor, anokuudzai kuti it is the system is wrong, because vanovarambidza kutaura their vernacular language. Vana vanokura vasingagoni kutaura chishona. When they go outside the country, they want something to identify themselves kuti nini ndiri muZimbabwean. Accomplisha everything chaanoda mulife, and she wants that piece of something chinomuti ndiri muZimbabwean. Obvonzi taura Zimbabwean language, dololo haugoni, saka unozviti uri muZimbabwean pakuti chi. Musafarire zvinhu zvisina nebasa. And musaiswe pressure mani nekutaura chirungu. Maradona chaiyo footballer uyo, Diego Maradona, makambomuhwa achigona chirungu kana kuti aingotaura chirudzi chiSpanish chekumusha kwavo. Ana Luis Figo vese, the greatest that we know kufootball, hamumbovanzwi vachiita teki nechirungu. Izvozvo ndizvo zvinoitisa kuti isusu tiite mapenzi chichisaririra, guys. Afrikaans is foreign language in South Africa. Afrikaans is foreign language in South Africa. Colonial language, just like English. Yeah. Ichokwadi ichocho. Tawanda. Ichokwadi. But we need to be proud. Anti muri kuzvinzwisisa? We need to be proud. Guys, let me tell you something. Zimbabwe is one rich country. Zimbabwe is one rich country. Nezuro ndakanzwa Chamisa achiti we have 67 minerals in Zimbabwe. We have 67 minerals in Zimbabwe. That's how Zimbabwe is rich. And inema deposits, ema minerals. Anemusoro, goridhe tinaro, platinum tinaro, diamonds tinawo, lithium tinayo. Tikangotora diamonds chete, Botswana is surviving nema diamonds chete. Look at Botswana. isusu tine diamond, tine kuZimplatz kunorimwa chi kuZimplatz guys? Zimplatz vanorima chi? Platinum. Yeah, Zimplatz it's platinum. We've got platinum, we've got gold, we've got diamonds, we've got lithium, we've got chrome. Saka chii chimwe chatingada, and zvese zvinhu izvozvo zvakakosha sei. Mombogugulawo kuti kana alright kuZimbabwe kuchinzi kunoita chrome. Chrome iyoyo sei ichidiwa, maChina anouya kuzotora raw material yechrome vachiiendesa kunze. Vane chii chavari kuda? Lithium iko zvino is the it. Kwatiri kuinda every other car inenge ichishanda on electric iri kushandisa lithium. Go green solar panels ari kushandisa lithium. Zimbabwe is got deposits lithium in the region. Zviri kulutwa nemaChina, zviri kulutwa nevanhu vezanu, zviri kulutwa nana Mnangagwa zvese izvozvo. Isusu tichingoti ndatitaure chirungu. Guys, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Kana ukabvunzwa kwaunenge uri kuti you are a Zimbabwean, usafunge kuti kungotaura chirungu ndiko kunoshamisira. Talk rich about your country. Chero mukavhairirwa, ini munomboziva kuti ndogara ndakaudza vanhu kuti chero ndikavhairirwa nemaSouth African ndogara ndakavaudza kuti where I come from, I lived a very beautiful life. When I was in Zimbabwe, I lived like a queen, not kuti izvoni ndakabva ndichitambura. It's the economic conditions that forced me to come. But given any other option, I would rather be kuZimbabwe than kugara kuSouth Africa. Because our life that we had kuZimbabwe was beautiful. But we got messed up. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Itai vanhu vanoita TikTok. Itai mavideo enyu about Zimbabwe elections. Let's talk about my elections so that nyika dzese pasi pano dzinonzwa. Ndatiparidzire kamoto kema-elections ekuZimbabwe so that panosvika date rema-election, chero pakada kuzoitwa rigging, chero pakada kuzoitwa whatever activities that will be happening, the world will be watching. Itai kuti mapost ese ane anything to do nemaZimbabweans, comment, talk, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Let's talk about Zimbabwe. Let everyone get to know about Zimbabwe. Even muChinese kana muRussian ari kuhondo asati anzwa kuti kune Zimbabwe, ndavanzwe kuti Zimbabwe chii chiri kumboitika. Why is it my Zimbabwean people, they are now talking about my election asi vahwina independence this year here kana kuti let's talk about Zimbabwe. It's the only way atichawana freedom yedu. Ndatisa underestimate the importance of social media. Social media inotibetsera kuti the outside world iwisise what is happening kuZimbabwe. Kana vanzwa zvichemo zvedu vachatinamatirawo, kana vanzwawo zvichemo zvedu vachaungana kuti we need justice for Zimbabwe. So let's keep spreading the word nenyaya yekuZimbabwe. It's our responsibility as Zimbabweans. I love you guys and good night. I'll keep coming back with more and more and more things that are happening nenyaya yekuZimbabwe until musi watichaenda kumavotes. Those that are traveling kunovota, itai mutravele pachine time. Anti muri kuzvinzwisisa, itai mutravele pane time so that hamunetsekane pamaborder posts. Ukaitawo a week, it's good enough. Then also, what I would advise, musi paunongoita mavotes, kana vanhu muchidzoka kumabasa, unobva watongodzokawo pachine nguva, because we don't know what is going to happen. Like people are saying kuti pane madivisions ari muzanu. Last time vanhu vakashudwa we don't want people kuti vave involved vazoita nhingirikini macasualties nenyaya yevanhu vanenge vane hondo dzavo. So just be safe. I love you. Good night.